Hello everyone and welcome to another look at Tabletop Simulator. My name is Kasanis. Guys, in this episode we're going to concentrate on the hosting of a game and playing of a game. You've probably already done it. I'm hoping you have, and that you're not sitting there anxiously waiting for this video to come out to be able to show you how to play a game and how to actually use Tabletop Simulator for what it's supposed to be used for, and that's playing board games, and you've actually gone ahead and already done so. However, this is part of a series that I'm creating to teach a course at Centennial College, and I want to make sure that everyone is on exactly the same page. So, we're going to do this particular video, even though I think you probably already know exactly how to do it. Alright guys, let's get started. Okay guys, just before we actually begin this video, I want to make sure that you have subscribed to at least a couple of games. Subscribed games are the ones that you can host. These are the games that you are able to play and host. Okay, so here I am inside of Steam. I've gone to the Workshop tab and I've gone to the Tabletop Simulator Workshop. Within here, you can search for any type of game that you are looking for. So, for example, if I'm looking for a game called Barbarian Prince, I can hit return, and when I do so, it's going to launch everything that is called Barbarian Prince. This one's Barbarian Vince. I don't know why. Anyway, guys, what we can see here is different things that are available. Now, I've already subscribed to one of these games. I can see right here that I have subscribed, you are subscribed to this item, to the Barbarian Prince game. Okay. If I haven't subscribed, however, I can go in and I will see a little plus sign here. By clicking the plus sign, it's going to add that subscription to your game, and that will become available for you either as the game itself or as an asset that you can load into a game inside of Tabletop Simulator. Pretty much any game you're looking for. Let's try Robo Rally. I haven't actually tried this yet. Let's see if I only want Robo Rally, not Barbarian Prince Robo Rally. That'd be crazy. Robo Rally. Let's see, is it one word? I can't remember now. Yep, it is. Awesome. Robo Rally right here. All right. Hit the plus sign, and now I have the second edition of Robo Rally. This is the one I have at home. Cool. Any game that you want is probably here, guys. Give it a try. Check it out. Subscribe to a few games. You're going to be playing these later on. So go through right now, pick out some games, pause the video, and then come on back and watch the rest of it. All right, guys? I'll see you in Tabletop Simulator. Okay, so here we are inside of Tabletop Simulator. I'm at the main screen. Still ugly. Still ugly. You do have options to change it down here, by the way. I haven't gone over this, but this button down here allows you to change some of the options as far as this screen is concerned. Anyway, guys, here we are right now. It's completely functional. Let's take a look at what we have on the front. We've got the ability to join a game. If a game's already been created, bam, there you go. You can join it. If I click a button right now, you're going to see what's available to me. And currently right now, there's not a whole lot. I've got it on friends only, and none of my friends are playing anything. All right, too bad. Let me shut this off. If we want to create ourselves a game and actually start a server, we're going to go to the Create menu. And we took a look at this throughout the videos that we've already looked at. We've used this in the past, right? The Create button itself is going to give us three options: single player, multiplayer, and hot seat. Single player allows you to run or create a single player game. That's what it basically does. Run a single player game, just you sitting there by yourself and playing the game. And there are thousands of games available, as we've looked at previously. Thousands of single player games available. All right, Barbarian Prince, awesome game. Check it out. Single player. Next to that is multiplayer. This is going to allow us to do stuff across the internet, right? You can connect with people who are online and your friends or public or whatever it is you want and play games with them. Lastly, we've got hot seat, and this basically allows you to play on the same system. We've got one computer, we're all sitting in the same room, we got one computer, and we want to swap out who's kind of in control and doing their stuff. All right, so multiple people on the same system playing a game. Awesome. Today we're going to take a look at multiplayer, and we're going to take a look at the host options that are available. So I'm going to click multiplayer. I'm going to create this brand new server. I'm hosting this brand new server. I can name it anything I'd like. Give it a name that your friends are going to know who it is, who's doing this, or give it a name that maybe indicates the game you're playing, that kind of thing, all right? Make it something that is relatively obvious to your buddies. Okay. Below that is the server type. Are we opening this to public, friends, or is it invite only? And I find this a little bit interesting here. If I click on one of these, then some of them turn off. So public invite, for example. If I click on friends, well, public's turned off. I click on invite, then friends turns off. Now I only have the option to turn one of them on. I am unsure if this is a bug or not. No idea whatsoever. For now, I'm going to leave it on. Let's switch to invite, all right? Just in case someone comes logging and is like, oh, Casanis is playing a game. Let's go and play with them. All right, invite only. You can add in a server password of some kind if you'd like to make sure that people can't join your game without knowing the actual password. And we can create the number of players that we are going to host. Okay, I'll leave it at 4 for now, and I'm going to hit create. When I do so, it's going to say, okay, well, here we are, and what kind of game do you want to create? Now, we can see that it comes with several different games that are available. All of the classic games are available for you to use. It's got a bunch of different stuff in here. Dominoes, backgammon, poker, etc. RPGs. Everything is kind of set up within here for you to use automatically. Below that is DLC. The DLC you have to purchase. It's locked unless you already own it. I have never tried any of the DLC. You know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll actually put some money into this because there's a lot of people working really hard on this stuff. It's really amazing. A lot of it's free. If we go down to the workshop, we can see the free stuff. And right now, I've gone through and I have personally connected with the game that I created, Pokemon Golden Sun Adventure, Barbarian Prince, and Dungeon. Now, as the host, these are the games that I am currently linked to, and these are the games that I can currently start. Not everyone who's invited to the game has to have these games. They don't have to be linked to these games. Only the host does. So if I create this brand new game, if I create a game of Dungeon, for example, it's automatically going to load Dungeon, and I can invite people. No one else actually has to have a connection to that game. They'll automatically see everything they need to see because I have it. Okay, so whatever you're collecting from the workshop is available here, and you are able to play. If I don't want to create anything, and this is what we're going to take a look at today, I'm not going to actually open up a game. You know what? That's a lie. Let's open up a game just so we can see what happens. I'm going to click this right now, and then I'm going to come back to this screen afterwards and show you how I want to actually do this. I'm going to click Pokemon Sun and Moon, and I'm going to load the game. When I do so, it automatically pops up everything we need. Loading complete. I've got all of the objects that I want. And this is the game that we're going to create together later on. I'm going to show you how to build this. Okay? Now, let's say this is not what I want to do. I actually don't want to do this. What I want to do is create a game with my friends. And my students at Centennial are going to need to do this fairly often. They're going to need to create a game with their friends. They're going to need a group of people to get together and to create a board game. All right? So let's examine exactly how to do that. Okay, everyone. We are back, and we're right back to where we were, where we could choose our game. If you are in my class, or you're planning on building a game, you've already seen that we can simply close this off and begin to build our game. The only difference between what we did before and what we did now is you're going to be using this to build a group game. You've got a group, and all of you are going to contribute to the creation of this particular game, right? I've got a server going. I can now bring people in. Over here on the right-hand side of my screen, I have a plus symbol. If you click on it, you can invite anyone on your friends list directly to this game, which is great. That's how you're going to bring your group in place. I am currently sitting at the gray location, and I am currently the host. As people come in, they will choose seats around the table, however many seats are available around your table, or however many at least that you've allowed into your server will be allowed in. Each will be at a different color. If I am the only host in the game, if I'm the only host or the only promoted player, then I am going to be the only one that has access to the full menu along the top and the full menu along the side. If you wish this to be a truly collaborative project and allow everyone to do everything, you're going to need to either make your fellow students hosts or promote the fellow students to be able to allow them to add objects to their screen. Okay? So, if I go up here and I take a look, just like we did in the past under objects, I have full access to this. Other players, non-host and non-promoted players, will not have access to this. Promote your players or make them host in order to ensure that they have access to the objects menu as well. Okay, if you don't want to promote them and you want to give them additional options, under the options menu, under the permissions section, you will find that you can give people permissions within this particular game. turn on or off these permissions to allow people to do things or not do things. It's very limited. It's not going to allow them to add objects, for example. There's nothing in here that allows them to add objects, but they will have additional menu along the side if you turn the permissions on or off. Okay, so we've invited people in, we've made them hosts. Now we can go ahead and we can create our game by simply adding objects, discussing the rule set. We can go down here in this little thing down here and add notes whenever we're creating our rules. We can add into our notebook and we can create different things as far as our rules are concerned. That's what you're going to want to do. If you're taking my class, your responsibility is going to be to create the rule book and to design a game within here and save it properly so that I can actually see it later on. All right? I'm saying this right now, and this is going out to YouTube. I'm not going to look at everyone's game. If you want me to take a look at your game, you want me to discuss your game and your game design with you, you got to come to Centennial, all right? If you are watching this on YouTube, this is more of an instructional video. I'm not even sure if the general YouTube audience is even going to watch this particular video, but my students are going to. So I keep mentioning them, and I'm sorry for all those who aren't actually in my class and are missing out on this awesome class. Anyway, let's take a look at a few things that you can do as far as being the host is concerned, or a promoted player. Within the game itself, we can change our team and we can change our color. Being on a particular team will allow you benefits. All the people across a particular team will share certain benefits. By being a particular color, it will choose your spot along the table somewhere. So if I change my color, I can see that I have options all around the table. You'll also note that I have a dark gray or black option here, or I've got the light gray spectator mode. The most important one that I'm going to suggest right now as far as these spots are concerned, the one that's most different, each of these is just a different hand, is the black, the Game Master dot. The Game Master allows us to kind of see everything and do everything. As the Game Master, I'm going to have tools that I won't have necessarily as a regular player. Okay, so we'll discuss that a little bit more later on. In fact, what we might actually do is we might actually do an entire video on how we can use the Game Master to make a Dungeons and Dragons session, for example. All right, maybe that'll be a later video. So for now, I really want to discuss that. Now, being on a team or being under a particular color is going to allow us to do certain things or see certain things. As the host, let's take a look at this side right along here. As the host, I can do a number of these things here, and as long as the permissions are set, many of your players will also be able to do so. We've got our line tools, and our line tools are going to be used for a number of different things. Our pen, our line, our box, our circle, etc. You can use any one of these things to do something on the page, all right? So if I drag now, I can create a circle of my color in a particular area on the screen. If I change my color, so let me turn this off for now. If I change my color to, let's say, purple, and I then create a line or something else, let's do circle again, you will note that the circle is of my color. We don't have the option to change our color using this particular tool. Okay, awesome. Let me just change back, turn this off, change right back to my original color, change color, let's go back to white. And let's see what happens when we delete, erase all drawn lines. In doing so, it's going to ask me, are you sure? And yep, I'm sure. It's going to remove all lines. Below that is the zones. And this is a really interesting one, something I really want to talk about here, the zones. And there's a bunch of different zones that are available to us. Let's take a look. We have the hidden zones, we have the randomized zones, we have the hand zones, and we have the fog of war zones. All right? Scripting zones, we're not going to talk about those. But we have all these different zones that are available to us. In fact, we're not going to talk about some of these. We're only going to talk about really the hidden zone and the fog of war zones, maybe the hand zones. Basically, what this is, if I go to, for example, the hidden zone, and I draw a section on my table, this right here is a section that's only visible to certain players. Right now, it's only visible to the white players. All right, I can remove a zone by simply left-clicking on it once again. So I'm going to draw that zone again. If I left-click, it will remove the zone completely from view. When I draw it and I right-click, it's going to give me the option to be seen only by particular players. If I say, for example, white, it's going to remain white. Right-click and I say purple, it's going to be only available to the purple player. All right, anything that's within these zones are only going to be available to a particular player. If I set up so only the game master can see it, only the game master, none of the players can see it. All right, this is almost like a fog of war, and it's going to allow you to do things like hide cards that are on the table. For example, if I had a set of cards and I wanted to ensure that the players aren't going to see these cards, no one else is going to see these cards, it's going to allow me to hide based on the color. So if this is only available to white, for example, then none of the other colors around the scene will be able to see what's occurring within here. Similarly, we have the fog of war, and the fog of war is once again a drag to draw. Anything that's within the fog of war will be hidden. All right, it can be revealed over time. In exactly the same way, clicking on it will remove it from your scene. All right, but the fog of war will allow the game master to produce an area that can't be seen by any other player whatsoever. They're very, very similar in nature. All right, they're very, very similar in nature. Now, something to note, if you are utilizing this particular tool and you create a hidden zone, the players themselves can still reach into your hidden zone and can still move stuff around. They just can't see it. All right, so that to me is kind of a bug, but that's apparently the way it's currently built. All right, so these zones are pretty awesome. The hand zone, if I click on the hand zone right now, we can see where the player's hands are. And we already discussed the player's hands when we talked about the deck of cards. If I had a deck of cards, the cards would then be shuffled out to these individual hand zones. If I dealt them out, only the players, just like the hidden zones, they're basically hidden zones where the player will collect their cards. And they're kind of like holding the cards to your chest. You can see them, but nobody else can. All right, no one else can see them. It's not something that's displayed on the table like this. It is only something that is that you're seeing your own hand. All right. Besides that is the randomize, and the randomize, in my opinion, has limited use, a little bit of limited use. By setting up a randomized zone and clicking randomize within that zone, it's going to allow you to randomize objects where they're positioned. Once you've laid them out, it'll randomize the positions of those particular objects. It'll restack decks. It'll restack, stacks. It'll rebuild stacks and mixing up what's in the stack. It'll allow you to do things like that. It won't roll dice. It doesn't like flip things. It doesn't roll dice or anything like that. It just kind of randomizes the location of where the objects are within that zone. All right, so that's really the zones as well. A line tool, now this is pretty interesting. The line tool itself is going to allow you to, as an inexpensive measuring tool, so I can measure from point to point. All right, so if I drag and I stretch, I can see that this distance is 26 centimeters. Interestingly, it suggests it's only in inches here, and that said inches a minute ago, but it automatically switched. It must have said, whoa, this guy sounds Canadian. Let's switch to centimeters for him. Thank you. So we can see that we've got a kind of primitive measuring tool. If you've built yourself a game like some type of tabletop miniature battle or something like that, which is absolutely an option within Tabletop Simulator, you could use the measurement tool to measure your distance, etc. All right. Some of the other options, by simply clicking and clicking and clicking, we are getting these little arrows that are showing up indicating something is there. They disappear after a little while. And each of those lines and each of those arrows will each be created in whatever color that your player currently is. Okay, we've got a bunch of stuff within here, 2D or 3D lines, edge drawings, etc., etc. All right, there's a tons of different stuff in here that you can utilize to communicate to other players. If you are using this as a group creation tool, the line tools may become very, very handy to you. The flick tool we discussed already. The combine tool, this is actually a very large tool, and I think this is going to have a video onto itself. It is a complex system that I think will have a video on its own. It's actually a very advanced system, so we're not going to really talk about it right now. Text tool allows us to draw our text on the screen, so I can type things, hello, as an example. All right, I can type things, I can remove things, I can change the fonts, I can change the color, etc., etc., etc. So if you are building something, and again, it could be a method of communication, or it could be a way of laying out your geography that you've got associated with your table to ensure that you've got everything where you want it. All of that is available through the text tool. All right, I think that's the only ones we're going to talk about right now. The point tool allows you to create points. Again, this is something we'll talk about later on. These are snapping points. They'll stick to, things will stick to these points. And the rotate snap will actually rotate your object to a particular direction. This is something we'll talk about a little bit later on when we get into the complexities of actually building our own game. All right, guys, that's what I really want to talk about in this particular video. All I really wanted to make sure is that you guys knew how to start a game, how to play a game, and how as a group, for the students in my class, how as a group you will be able to go through and build yourself a group sandbox that you could use to create the game that you must submit in my class. All right, everyone, that's kind of it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, awesome. If you're in my class, you had to watch it anyway. So it doesn't matter if you enjoyed it or not. You still have to watch it. All right, guys? If you didn't like it, that's perfectly fine. Let me know down below. All right? As I've mentioned a bunch of times, this is really for the students in my class. This particular video is really for the students in my class so they can kind of get started on their group activities. Anyway, everyone, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know down below with a thumbs up or a thumbs down. All right? Thumbs up, thumbs down, comments down below, and if you haven't done so, please take a few seconds to subscribe. Have yourselves a wonderful day, everyone.